Benvenuti a In viaggio con Errichetta, una serie di appuntamenti attraverso i quali conosciamo e scopriamo la musica del presente, che affonda le proprie radici nella tradizione di culture vicine e lontane.
Errichetta Festival ha commissionato un video a diversi artisti in giro per il mondo, girato in un luogo che rappresentasse la forza della musica nel momento complesso che stiamo vivendo.
Il mio nome è Federico Pascucci ed ho l'onore di essere parte di questo stravagante collettivo chiamato Errichetta sin dal suo concepimento, 14 anni fa. Da allora, parallelamente al mio cammino nel mondo contemporaneo della musica jazz, mi sono dedicato allo studio delle tradizioni provenienti dai Balcani e dall'Asia minore, soprattutto attraverso incontri e collaborazioni con persone provenienti da queste aree culturali. L'ultima avventura l'ho affrontata insieme ad un fisarmonicista libanese, Samah Boulmona, e assieme siamo partiti per Beirut, dove abbiamo incontrato splendidi musicisti e creato il gruppo che state per ascoltare. Si tratta di un settetto che unisce strumenti tradizionali a strumenti acustici del tempo moderno. L'ensemble esegue un primo brano originale di mia composizione dal titolo Ain Remmeneh e poi una suite di 2 antiche canzoni siriane. Buon ascolto.
ماريا يا مسوسح الأبطان والبحرية يا مسوسح الأبطان يا ماريا يا مسوسح الأبطان والبحرية يا مسوسح الأبطان يا زماني عود لي تاني عود لي والله تاني عود يا زماني عود يا زماني عود لي تاني عود لي والله تاني عود يا زماني عود الهوى رماني سحر عيونه سحر عيونه السود الحلو رماني
يا ماريا مسوسح الأبطان والبحرية يا مسوسح الأبطان يا ماريا مسوسح الأبطان والبحرية يا مسوسح الأبطان
جننتينا يا بنتي يا حلوة جننتينا يا بنتي يا حلوة وجننتينا يا بنتي يا حلوة جننتينا يا بنتي يا حلوة ولا تنسينا بالله ردي ردي بالله علينا يا بنتي يا حلوة
يا ماريا مسوسح الأبطان والبحرية يا مسوسح الأبطان
يا ماريا يا مسوسح الأبطان والبحرية يا مسوسح الأبطان ميلي ماما للهوى يا عيني ميلي يا عينيا ميلي ماذا داء الهوى قولي قولي يا صبية لطلع راس الجبل يا عيني والقى الجبل عالي والبس ثياب الحزن يا روحي واحزن على حالي شوية
لماذا للهوى يا عيني ميلي يا عينيا ميلي المدى للهوى يا عيني ميلي المدى الهوى يا عيني قولي يا صبية
Hello, we are connected with Farah and Samah from Beirut. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Nice to see you, even over Zoom.
Nice to meet you.
So we have a couple of questions for you about the video and the music that we have just seen. And I think Carlo is gonna start with the first question.
Yeah, the first question is related to the repertoire. How did you choose the songs that we had just listened, and which are the sources? If it's coming from something that you used to listen, is coming from people that you know and from the tradition, and a few words about the lyrics, about the lyrics of the pieces that you have chosen.
Hello. Okay, so we've chosen two songs among many traditional pieces that we've played with Federico when he was here. The two songs that we chose was Ya Maria and Mili Mama Al Hawa, and the two are from the traditional Syrian music. They have many versions. Let's start with Ya Maria. There is an Egyptian version, and it's a very familiar thing that Egyptian songs are brought to Syria or to Bilad Sham, to Great Syria. So that's for Ya Maria. And Mili Mama Al Hawa, it's a typical traditional qad, and the qad is a musical form with a very simple composition and simple lyrics as well.
As for the lyrics, maybe here we can say like Ya Maria is more like a typical love story of a man describing a beautiful lady, mostly that lives by the sea, and he's talking about her beauty most of the time. While the other song goes a little bit more dark, and it's a bit sad. It's a bit kind of sad, talking about longing and about like being alone or living apart from the lover. And I think even it's clear from the tempo of the song and the scale, even if they have the same Hijaz more or less, but like the movement of the Hijaz is like more slow, and it's taking, you feel like the sorrow a little bit more than the first song.
Yeah, and the way of dealing with the scale.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And you talk, you just said it's this Egyptian song and then brought to Syria. But I know that Farah, you have been working on a very interesting project about mapping the traditional music from Syria. Do you want to tell us something about it?
Yeah, actually, I'm working on this project with Action for Hope. Action for Hope is an association founded in Lebanon in 2015. Syrian Music Map will be launched on March 12th. The main aim is just to preserve a very huge scale of traditional pieces that we know and that we don't know. So the website will be including 100 Syrian music pieces and songs. Mini Mamal Hawa will be one of them, and many other things. And the point is just to find a city or an area for this kind of music, to let the new generations just to discover and to have the opportunity to play and to know this tradition.
Sorry, guys, I've lost you for a while. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, sorry. The question that I have is a bit related to these things because actually, in your opinion, also dealing with this project of collecting traditional music, which is the meaning of playing nowadays for a today audience this kind of music, and how are you feeling about that?
if I can answer this, yeah, I believe that people gradually got used, of course, to more like up tempo, upbeat kind of music. The pop scene since the 90s, since the keyboards, changed like a lot the ears, or like how people receive this music. Because even listening to the same traditional pieces nowadays in restaurants or in weddings, you listen to the same very beautiful songs played with keyboard, with a one-man show, doing the whole thing alone with the rhythm box, with all the sounds together. I think when people listen to the same songs that they know from the pop scene, when they re-listen to them from an ensemble, from like real sounds, real instruments, they re-relate to the music in a different way. And I don't agree that people don't appreciate music. It's that they don't have the chance. And this is a big problem that we have nowadays. People don't have access to good music. Once they do, they are really like the best to appreciate. And we hope that we are trying our best to do this, if through Action for Hope with Farah, or through our like individual effort, or through this kind of collaboration like across the seas.
The instrumentation that you had. Now you're saying that in the area it is more difficult to find bands that play with traditional instruments.
Definitely, yeah. Of course, I'm talking generally, but yeah, I would say I can easily say like more than 80% of the musical scene is unfortunately taken over with like commercial sounds and with like DJs and like keyboards and like electronics and this stuff. Not the good kind of electronics. I'm saying here,
Sure.
using the
Sure.
keyboard as like arranger, like instead of using the real instruments. That's a big problem. Even if in our ensemble we had saxophone, we had accordion, which has like they are foreign instruments to our tradition. But I think the way we are playing this instrument, the way we're using these sounds, and these instruments already have a history and they have like their own tradition in jazz or in classical music or in folk, like the accordion in my case. But we're still using them in the right way. There's no right and wrong, but in the more like acoustically close to reality way.
Okay, okay. I wanted to ask Federico, because Federico is, of course, a member of Errichetta, and this project was in collaboration with him. What is his experience? How did it start? How did it develop? And also, if he can tell us a little bit, what does it mean for him to play this music on saxophone?
Yeah, first of all, I'm really happy that I had this chance with Errichetta, and I want to thank my fellows from Errichetta because it was a great thing to do. like going to taking advantage of this trip to Lebanon and having this session, meeting these crazily good musicians with Samah, and it worked. That we went to Lebanon for 1 month, and all of a sudden there was a crazy lockdown like never before. So we had a lot of time to spend together at home, meeting some other friends, a few good musicians coming, hanging, and playing. So during 1 month, we had this home sessions, and at the very end of this month, we selected a septet, an ensemble, like talking with Samah and Farah, and we thought to go to record in a very emblematic place. The place where we played, it's called Metro Al Medina, and it's an important theater in the scene of Beirut. It's really in the center, in the Amra, that's this street that normally it's 24 hours alive, and nowadays it's completely empty. So, and the Metro theater also, it's used to have shows every night, and now it's empty. So we are playing in the middle of this emptiness. So it's a very strong image. And so we selected a few songs, and I also had the chance to and the time to write a piece. So we also recorded one composition of mine. For me to play the saxophone in this music, it's challenging, but it's a kind of game I really like to play, to go into the Arabic music details, microtones and rhythms. And for this, I also want to thank you guys, Farah, Samah. I'm learning a lot with you.
I think likewise, it was a very beautiful experience for us as well, and it was very enjoyable, like for the people, because we met these musicians separately, but we met only once this whole day.
Yeah.
And basically, the day, if you remember, Federico, on the same day we had Federico's piece, which was the original piece, and we still didn't know what to play as like the other songs, because we had many options. Of course, when you talk folk and traditional music, you have hundreds of options. So I think we picked the music a few hours before recording, and this was really challenge mainly for Federico, because it's like new music, but everyone was so enjoying and collaborating. It was like a long day, but no one was tired. We were like really, finally we're doing music, no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
this,
the
yeah.
I like the name that it's Beirut Session 1, because actually it was a session. So we just met the people and made it happen. And it's 1 because probably for sure there will be 2 and 3.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah,
Definitely, it is
yeah.
a session. It is.
That day, the beauty of that day was just to play with an ensemble. It was a very long time not playing with
1 year,
with,
more or
yeah,
less.
with like 7 musicians or something. And Federico's piece and the challenging moments of just playing it, and for them more, we just played it a few days before, but they played it on the same day for the first time. So this challenging moments and periods, I guess it was beautiful.
I think we missed being challenged
Yes.
for a while.
Yeah, of course.
And now I would like to ask Samah to talk a little bit, because Farah plays the bouzuk. That's a traditional instrument, long neck string instrument, and Samah is playing accordion. That's a new instrument inside the Arabic tradition, and he plays a special accordion. And can you talk about the accordion and your accordion a little bit?
Yeah, basically the accordion I'm playing now is like the same model of accordion that entered the Egyptian music in the 50s and the 60s. It's a wave of like bringing new instruments to the Arabic music and like exploring more sounds. And the accordion used to be played normally, just the normal 440 accordion. Then there's a very interesting story here that says that the first ever accordion to play microtones happened by mistake. It's a beautiful story that I love to say. This what the story says. I don't know 100% if it's true or not, but I like the poetry of the story. That, as you know, accordions are made from reeds, and these reeds are tuned and retuned using some kind of wax, honey, like bee wax, sorry. So there was an accordion that was left in the sun, and the tuning changes usually if you don't play it for a while. And then this person was trying to play it, and there was like really low mi or like E, and it sounds really, what's this? And this is how it really started. And this back in the 50s, I believe. I read the story like a while ago. And then after that, of course, it got obvious. Like they found a way to change this tuning of this reed. So they started to change certain reeds to get certain scales. And somehow it really fit with the folk Arabic music a lot. Even in Egypt, it was a big challenge for big singers like Kulthum. Kulthum is like a figure in the Arabic music. And for her, for the first time, when Abdul Wahab, the composer, tried to convince her, let's bring accordion to the band, she was like, what are you saying? Accordion in my music? I'm singing just traditional music, real old scales, long poems. And she thought that people would make fun of this. And it was really the opposite. But more at that period, accordion was more in the popular music, wedding music, belly dancing music, which I find great. I believe that the accordion did a great role in this kind of music, but I believe it is never fulfilling, never went to the end, because it's really limited in terms of how many notes you can play and how flexible you can go through the notes. When you play the saxophone, you can always bend, you can always find positions. With the accordion, you have kind of limited ways to play the scales. And hopefully, we could talk about this later at other point. I have some intentions and for a project to find better ways for tuning the accordion.
Yeah, you
rather than the
actually
way it is now.
you had this project of exploring the accordion here in Italy, no? In Castelfidardo.
Exactly.
Propose
And it's basically
a
gonna take place
microtono.
in Castelfidardo. Yeah. I have this idea since years in my mind. Maybe it's good that it never
Yeah, we
happened
hope that
because
this
by
will
time
work.
it's just growing. The idea is growing and I'm getting in better places. Hopefully one day we could find an accordion that could play. I don't want to say all the scales, but many of this cover many of the scales of the Arabic and Turkish music.
Great, amazing. Carlo,
Loreto?
Yeah, and I have a couple of questions. One is how you put together the ensemble, how you think about the different instrument, if it's something that you had in mind, and another, you had in mind that you need those musicians and those instruments. And another question instead is for Farah, that you play the bouzouki. I want to understand if it's something that in the tradition there are women playing those instruments, and the role of women in ensemble like this one, traditional and nowadays.
If you want to answer the first question related to the ensemble, I can answer half and maybe Federico could take over. Basically, it started that it was me, Farah, and Federico meeting because we lived in the same neighborhood at the full lockdown. We lived close to each other and we were meeting all the time. And even me and Federico, before traveling to Beirut, we started kind of a list of instruments and good players. And Federico had some idea in his mind, but he was really open about the idea. It was not like, I want this and that, I want the bass, I want the oud, I want the buzu. Of course, we thought about the registers in terms of like low instruments, mid instruments, a bow instrument, or we had these options, of course, but it was more like exploring. And I think it happened very naturally. It was not like we only want this. We were very flexible. And for that, we found, I think, the right ensemble and the right people, not only the right instruments. We found people that we could connect with and work with for many hours without feeling like any stress.
yeah, I agree. And plus, I would add that we kind of managed to have an ensemble that's in half like traditional, and in the other hand, it's kind of original, modern, in which there is a double bass and that two percussion that fits with the saxophone, with the accordion, but still it's kind of very organic in this sense, I can say. And for instance, I was really hearing the sound of a violin, and there is Firas, he's amazing. He can sing and play oud and play violin, so he was perfect for.
And this was the last moment. This was not planned. He was playing the oud. Then he has his violin on, and Federico was, you should you should switch at some point and play the solo with the violin.
Yeah.
And this was, I think, a nice moment.
And then now the next question to Farah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a big question. So let me just brief it. Let me start that I believe that, that gender-wise, I don't use this concern to present music. I believe that every musician, whatever his gender or her gender, if he has to practice to just present good music. But because of our history and the feminism history in our land, it's not a very good history. So we have to take this concern and present it to just support and to try to present this idea as okay, so a woman could do this, or women can just present music as ensembles, or not just as singers, but as music players or instruments players. So literally when I'm being in ensembles or in bands, many times I've been the only woman, but really it's not my concern. I just try to make good music and to support the feminism in a way, not in maybe in a deeper way, not very like on the top of things.
Because traditionally, like the women were singers mostly, no?
Yeah, of course. Of course, and that's why it's a point. Yeah, it could be a point to just focus on it and to present it.
Yeah, true.
I think on this, I don't know as a man if I can add something on this, but but yeah, I believe like yeah, mainly as you said, mainly women were singers,
Yeah.
always with male band the members most of the time, and there were like small groups of women singing and playing music, but for very private kind of ceremonies, as like preparing for the wedding night or like stuff like this. Most of the time it was like this, but I believe in the last 100 years, I would say, we started to see this much more. And of course, maybe yeah, maybe these people should support each other more as musicians, as female musicians. But at the same time, I totally understand Farah's point and the meaning that yeah, okay, you pick your battles. My battle is being a musician. I mean, her being first of all being a very good musician that can satisfy myself and do my things perfectly. And it happened that I'm a female, like just the same way that it happened that I was born a male.
Yeah.
But it's still something that people do appreciate a lot. They do appreciate it a lot when they see female figures playing music, and I think this could be supporting the feminist scene indirectly without even mentioning that.
Exactly.
I'm a female. I play. No, I just play. I do my thing
Yeah.
the way I believe, and then it will arrive to the people. I think.
Yeah,
Even with the ensembles that we shared, we played with many groups that she was the only female. But I think we never felt that she's the only female because we were
And
like
I didn't.
the main topic was the music itself,
Yes,
so it
of
happened
course.
naturally.
Yeah.
But
And
I'm
that's
sure
the
it
main
had the
concern.
benefits definitely.
Yeah. We could use these benefits in other ways.
Definitely.
Yeah, totally right. Is there anything that you would like to add for the Italian and maybe international people who will listen to these words?
First, I hope people would enjoy the video first of all, and I really hope that this wouldn't be the last, the first but not the last, and hopefully soon we can play live for
Yes.
people
Yeah.
in Rome, in Beirut, in Italy, anywhere, but just meet and play.
Let's try to make it happen.
Let's do.
Yeah. Thank you for all the team. We enjoyed making the video. We hope that we will enjoy a live performance soon.
Very nice. I actually had one last question. When you said that, I think it was very nice. You said that you don't think you don't think people don't like acoustic music, but you think that it's because they don't have the chance to listen to it. So how can you explain the change from the orchestras or ensembles of the 50s and the 60s with a more electronizations of 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s? And how do you think this process can kind of go in the other way now? And should it?
I will start from the end of what you said. I think it's already happening. In the last 7, 8 years, 10 years maximum, which is the year I joined the scene in Lebanon. Before that, I was not even a performing musician. I was studying. I think in the last 10 years, you feel that there's like people are going back to some roots. People are like sick of like the same kind of sound, the same kind of pop sounds, or like listening to instruments with fake sounds on a keyboard. People are already going back to the tradition, but it's moving very slightly, I believe. And through spaces like Metro El Medina and Beirut, where we recorded the video, through work with NGOs, organizations like Action for Hope, and through individuals, I think we could push this in a way, for sure. And I think this has to do with the global change that happened, not only in music. We don't take it personally in music because I think now, I mean, I know everyone has like smartphones, everyone is using maps, everyone is relying on technology these days. And of course, music was one of the many things that went in this wave. I think that was a natural thing to happen, in my opinion, of course. And I believe yes, we are going back in a way. We're like, it will take a lot of time. The curve is really huge, but people are really starting to appreciate things differently. And we should reach a point where people don't fantasize about this because now, oh wow, a group of 4 musicians playing. This is the normal thing, you know. This is supposed to be the most normal thing to find a group of musicians playing, not only one performer or like a DJ, which we respect a lot, DJs and keyboard players. But I'm saying in the way that when they take over this kind of music.
You are a keyboard player, Samah.
I am a keyboard, yeah, of course. I still love it.
Coming back to traditional music could take many ways. Even DJs can just play many traditional sets, but let's make the acoustic ensembles one of the ways, not just to forget about it. Let's just introduce these kind of ensembles and bands to the future generation to have an idea.
And here, when we talk about it, at least in Lebanon, it's really sad because you see where like musicians, where places like small restaurants and pubs used to employ 4 musicians to have a gig every week, and this was the normal. Like in the 90s, this was the normal thing to have at least 4 musicians playing in place and getting paid really well, and they can get card with the syndicate of musicians. They have some good like options for like how do you say, insurance and stuff like this. And now most of the places replace this ensemble of 4 with one person, and that's our main concern, mostly. Also, one of the many concerns, actually. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
I think we could talk a lot about this and go for
Definitely.
hours.
And coming other sessions, hopefully.
Yeah, but time is over.
Okay.
Benvenuti a In viaggio con Errichetta, una serie di appuntamenti attraverso i quali scopriamo e conosciamo la musica del presente che affonda le sue radici nella tradizione di culture vicine e lontane.
Errichetta Festival ha commissionato un video a diversi artisti in giro per il mondo, girato in un luogo che rappresentasse la forza della musica nel momento complesso che stiamo vivendo.
In questa puntata presentiamo il trio di F.Sierakowski. F.Sierakowski è un musicista eclettico e sassofonista di grande personalità, oltre ad essere un'anima portante del gruppo Errichetta Undeground. Conclusasi la sua formazione tra l'Italia e l'America, decide di stabilirsi ad Atene, dove affronta e approfondisce lo studio relativo alla musica classica ottomana, affrontando in qualche modo una sfida interessantissima, ovvero quella di inserire il timbro del sassofono all'interno del panorama degli strumenti tradizionali. Lo ascoltiamo con il suo trio, per l'appunto, con 2 brani originali di sua composizione interpretati dallo stesso F.Sierakowski insieme a Panagiotis Kaitazis all'ud e Stratis Skurkeas alle percussioni. Dopo la performance seguirà un'intervista dove i musicisti ci racconteranno la propria storia e quella della propria musica. Alla fine ci ritroveremo qui in studio per un saluto musicale insieme ad Errichetta Undeground.
Bye.
Hello. So we are now connected with Fausto, Panagiotis, and Stratis, and we just saw this amazing work from this trio, and we are about to ask a couple of questions to go deeper inside it. And the first question I would like to ask to Fausto, and I'm really curious to know how Fausto had in mind this kind of project, and like did he build the project? How did he compose the pieces that are original music, and how did the saxophone dialogues with this kind of music and with this kind of instruments?
Well, maybe I will start with the end. The saxophone is not an instrument that is present in musics of Greece or musics of the Eastern Mediterranean. But it is my instrument, so in a way, for me, I play this music because I like this music, and I play it on the saxophone because I play the saxophone, because I playing the saxophone for many years. So, and I only came to this music later on in my life. The whole work, I think, on the saxophone is to try to make it very close to the voice. I think that is the challenge on the instrument, but also a challenge that interests me in playing this music, which is very vocal music and very expressive music and very close to speech, in a way, to how you would speak. And now the difficulty a little bit when you play saxophone with these other instruments is a theme of question of volume, which of course in the frame of recording is, you can work around it with recording techniques, But if you don't have this, you have to think a little bit about the different colors of the instruments. So for the saxophone to play with ouds, I had to make some adaptation on the saxophone with the mouthpiece, with the reed, to lower the volume, and also to enhance some frequencies, some more bright frequencies, in order the saxophone not to be too large. Because the saxophone and the oud actually have quite similar sound color. They have, you know, a bass, a lot of mids, and so it was necessary to do some adjustments that I didn't do for this video. I just, you know, generally, it's the process of playing with string instruments that you find in Greece. What was the other question?
Yeah, how the saxophone dialogues with this music and with these instruments, and also how did you create this project? How did you conceive and
well, I like very much the instrumentation of oud and percussion, and it's one of the main instrumentation that I play with the saxophone, because the oud adds the bass and also creates kind of a home for the whole atmosphere of the piece. And the percussion is essential for rhythm, for energy, for color also. And in this way, the saxophone has to take care of the voice in a way. So it challenges me to try to play in a way that is more vocal, so that the trio is kind of complete. Although we did talk about during rehearsals that kind of the idea was to have 3 parallel voices, but that's more on a metaphorical point of view, on the kind of sound. And then I don't have much experience as a composer, so yeah, I've been trying to write in the past few months, and I don't know. I just actually the first piece I had been trying to write for about a week or 2, and it was not coming along. It was okay, and then one night I came home drunk, and then the pencil kind of flowed much quicker. And then we worked on the piece also with Panayotis and Stratis, and to try to make them alive. Yeah, and the second piece was Stratis will probably talk about the rhythm, but the second piece, the Karsilama, it was more defined. It was okay. I'd like to write a piece in this rhythm, and I had been listening a lot to Küçük Hasan, a zurna player from Turkey, who plays 80% of the pieces are this rhythm, and so I wanted to try to write something on this rhythm.
Very good. And yeah, the next question that we would like to ask is about the instrument, the oud, and because in our Western view is an instrument that is very related to the Middle East music and also to Turkish music. Instead, we would like to ask how much is rooted in the traditional Greek music, and then another question is the relationship together with Fausto, how the interplay between oud and saxophone, how you related to these things actually. And if you want, you can also reply in Greek as you want.
Εγώ απαντάω.
Ναι.
Okay. Θες να κάνεις μετάφραση ή να τα πω στα αγγλικά?
Όπως θες, όπως είσαι πιο άνετος.
Καλύτερα κάνει μετάφραση για να μπορώ να μιλήσω πιο άνετα.
Okay.
Να πω ότι εγώ γνώρισα το ούτι στην ηλικία των 10 ετών από το μουσικό σχολείο της Μυτιλήνης. Στην παραδοσιακή μουσική της Λέσβου υπήρξε το ούτι, όχι τόσο πολύ, αλλά υπήρξε από Αρμένιδες πρόσφυγες που με την ανταλλαγή πληθυσμών, ας πούμε, ήρθαν στο νησί και ασχολήθηκαν με το όργανο και το δίδαξαν. Θες να μεταφράσεις μέχρι εδώ?
Αρμένιδες εννοείς?
From Armenian.
Okay.
People, from...
Okay. So Panisi says that he encountered the oud at the age of 10 in the musical high school of Lesbos. And the reason why there was oud in Mytilene or in general? Yeah, in Mytilene.
Mytilene and in all of the Greece.
Lesbos, in Lesbos in general.
Lesbos, yes.
In Lesbos was because of the exchange of population that happened in 1920, where a lot of the Greeks that lived in modern Turkey came back to Greece, or in this case to Mytilene, and brought their instruments as well, such as the oud.
Κατά το διαχωρισμό, όταν η Ελλάδα, ας πούμε, προσπάθησε να αποχωριστεί αυτή το οθωμανικό, ας πούμε, όνομα, δηλαδή προσπάθησε η Ελλάδα να μην λέγεται πλέον ότι έχει επιρροές από την Τουρκία, αυτά τα όργανα εξαφανίστηκαν από τον ελλαδικό χώρο. Σταμάτησαν να παίζουν, σταμάτησε αυτή η μουσική να παίζει, ήρθε μια καινούργια δεκαετία του μπουζουκιού, ας πούμε, εισαγωγικά. Μετά από αυτή τη δεκαετία, τώρα, ας πούμε, από το 1995 και μετά, ξεκίνησε πάλι να εμφανίζεται το ούτι, κυρίως, ας πούμε, σε αστικό, ας πούμε, δηλαδή στην Αθήνα περισσότερο, και ξαναήρθε, ας πούμε, σαν μόδα, ας πούμε ότι ξαναήρθε σαν μόδα στην Ελλάδα. Οπότε, και σιγά σιγά μπήκε και στα πανεπιστήμια της Ελλάδος, δηλαδή στο Πανεπιστήμιο της Άρτας και της Μακεδονίας, και βγήκε μια καλή φουρνιά από παίχτες, που πλέον, ας πούμε, είναι πάρα πολλοί. Και ο καθένας παίζει με το δικό του στυλ. Αυτό μετέφρασα εμείς.
The answer is that also what happened was after the separation, of course, after 1920, and in the beginning of the 20th century, and then going on, Greece wanted to separate itself a little bit from the references to the Ottoman Empire and to more kind of Eastern identity. And so this was when a lot of these instruments disappeared, such as oud, such as lafta, and where the bouzouki was the instrument that took center stage, so to say. But starting in 1995, this started to change. We could see kind of a fashion in studying these instruments that had been disappeared. And then it started to be taught inside universities and musical high schools. And now Greece has a lot of oud players who each have their own different style and influences sometimes.
Okay. Θύμισε μου το σκέλος της ερώτησης του δεύτερο, Φάουστο.
Αυτό ήταν, νομίζω.
Όχι, νομίζω ότι ήταν και η σχέση με το σαξόφωνο και ούτε συνδυασμός.
Ναι.
Οκ. Λοιπόν, γενικά πιστεύω ότι λόγω της εξέλιξης των πραγμάτων, δεν πιστεύω ότι μπορούμε να πούμε ότι εκπροσωπούμε μόνο μια παραδοσιακή μουσική ή καθέτος ή ένα καφέ αμάν, ας πούμε. Εκπροσωπούμε τη μουσική. Δηλαδή, εγώ στο ούτι, αν με ρωτήσεις, ας πούμε, τι παίζω, τι μουσική παίζω, θα σου πω ότι απλά παίζω μουσική. Οτιδήποτε. Ό,τι είναι αυτό. Επομένως, βλέπουμε ότι πάρα πολλοί παίχτες εδώ και κυρίως στην Ελλάδα ξεκίνησαν να βάζουν το ούτι, ας πούμε, στην jazz μουσική σκηνή. Ξεκίνησαν να βάζουν το ούτι σε πιο εναλλακτικές μουσικές σκηνές, σε πιο ethnic. Οπότε έτσι κι εμείς παντρέψαμε, ας πούμε, το σαξόφωνο με το ούτι σε μια, ας το πούμε, σε μια σύνθεση, σε μια σύγχρονη σύνθεση βγαλμένη, ας πούμε, μέσα από το παρελθόν. Κάπως έτσι, ας πούμε, αυτό.
So Panitis says that for him the oud is his instrument. It is not that like playing the oud you play, you know, style of café aman or traditional. It's his instrument, and also that in Greece the oud has been now in the last years used also in maybe jazz contexts or context of different styles. And in relation to this, in this project, it was the actually to play both with the oud and the saxophone, a composition of today, which of course roots itself in the languages of the past.
Okay.
Amazing. So at this point, I would like to ask something about the percussion, especially the percussion in relation with the composition of Fausto, and like the rhythm that you play. Where do they come from? Where do these rhythms come from? And also the instruments that you play. Where do they come from?
Okay, I will speak first for the first song, Fanos. Okay, for Fanos. The instruments I use there are frame drum, bendir, and rik. And they are coming from Middle Eastern music, and not they do not have Greek origins, although now we use it also to Greek music, but the origin is from Arabic and Turkey. They use it there. Also, yes, all the Arabic word, Iraq and in all the Arabic word. Now, after I think at the 90s, about 90s, they started to incorporate these instruments from Middle East also to Greek music. Now we play traditional music also with rik or with bendir. But in traditional Greek music, we have instruments like this, but with small differences. Instead of bendir, for example, we have daire or dahare, which is played in Macedonia, Cappadocia, the Greek Cappadocia and Greek Macedonia. Like rik, we could say we have defi from Epirus. Instruments which have a lot of similarities, but also differences in the way they played. Now, about the rhythms. Fanos has, to my head, is divided into three different rhythm styles. The first part, I could say it's a free part. I don't know if Fausto is agree. All the piece, also the first part, was composed into 3/4, but the feeling and the way that the rhythm phrases is not 3/4. It's I follow the melody in the first part. In the first part, where I use the bendir and the rik. Okay, and Fausto, as he told me, he was imagining something like here in Greece, like they play the davul with Atanastenaria. Σωστά, Fausto? Okay. Which is something free, and the player also follows the dancer. Now, in this part, in the first part of Fanos, I followed the melody, the Fausto, who was the main melody. And in the second part now of the piece, Fausto wrote a melody which is based on a Greek dance which is called, and Greek rhythm which is called tsamikos. I say Greek the dance because in Greece the names of the rhythms are the same with the dances. We do not have this thing like in Turkish music or in Arabic music that I will play a nusul or I will play in Arabic word a saidi, which is a rhythm name. All our rhythms derive their names from the dances. So the second part is 6/8, which is called tsamiko. And they, in Greek traditional music, they used to play it with tubeleki or with defi. And we use the rik, which is similar to the defi, but it's not. It has some differences. And the last part from the composition, I used mainly a rhythm which I took from Turkish music, Yuruksemai, this 6/8. And that's the whole thing for the first song. Three different concepts, let's say. The question was this. I think I answered the question for the first song.
Yeah.
For the first composition. Okay. The second composition, it was more clear to me. It was a composition in 9/8, and I used the rhythm, the classic 9/8 rhythm we have, which we have also here in Greece, and we call it karsilama. And also there is in Turkish music, which is called also karsilama or roman havasi. Most of the patterns I used there are derived from roman havasi, and it didn't have any difficult, or I didn't change much. Only I took a lot of patterns from Greece and Roman Havasi, and we combined it according to the melody.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and it leads me to the next question that can be to both of you, and it's related to the meaning of playing traditional music nowadays for you, which is the importance of keep this tradition alive, and how is perceived by the people when you play, and which is the meaning of playing this music.
Okay, if I may speak. Okay, I will speak. For me, playing traditional music, I don't know how this is gonna sound, but it really. I don't care to keep anything alive, but it's something that it expresses me. I like it, it speaks to me, and I want to play it. I don't want to keep it alive if this is, yes, it doesn't mean anything to me. But it's something that it speaks to me. And it speaks to me, and I like playing traditional music to these traditional forms. Also, I see that people, a lot of people, more and more now, they need this. They like this. Something like that we are going in a way, we are going back to the roots, and people, you see, he really wants it. he wants to dance with his music, to have fun with music. That's it for me.
I think it's amazing because it's exactly the same answer we got from Lebanese artists,
Nice.
and so it's good to see that there is a kind of necessity around in the world that's similar in different countries to rediscover this connection with the traditional music.
Yes, I think that this is the keyword, rediscover the connection. Yes, this is it. That's what we do.
Yeah. And Panagiotis, do you want to say something about this?
Ναι. Φάουστο, να πω κάτι για την προδοσιακή μουσική.
Αν θες, τι ρόλο έχει σήμερα να παίξουμε αυτή τη μουσική ή οι συνθέσεις που παίρνουν έπνευση από εκεί.
Okay. Θα πω ως βάση ότι οι περισσότεροι, ας πούμε, εδώ στην Ελλάδα είμαστε πρόσφυγες. Πρόσφυγες οι οποίοι, ρε παιδί μου, είχαν αυτή τη μουσική, ακούγαν αυτή τη μουσική, οι πρόγονοί τους, έτσι, όχι οι ίδιοι. Οπότε είναι ένα μικρόβιο το οποίο πάντα, ρε παιδί μου, πάντα θα μας ενοχλεί. Και εμείς, και αυτό που είπε και ο Στρατής, ότι βλέπουμε ο κόσμος ότι το ζητάει αυτό, θέλει να διασκεδάσει με αυτή τη μουσική, θεωρώ ότι είναι αυτό το μικρόβιο που το ζητάει πίσω, δηλαδή, και έχει λείψει πολύ στον κόσμο αυτό το πράγμα. Δηλαδή, μετά από τα μπουζούκια και όλη αυτή τη διασκέδαση, ας πούμε, που λόγω, ας πούμε, της οικονομικής ευχέρειας του κόσμου είχε υπάρξει στην Ελλάδα, ο κόσμος τώρα ζητάει την απλότητα. Θες να τα πεις αυτά, γιατί θα σε μπερδέψω.
Painotis says that because Greece is made of, nowadays Greece is made of so many immigrants or immigrants, Greek, who lived abroad in the Mediterranean, and the Eastern music is like a bacteria in a way, and it's impossible for a modern Greek to kind of not have this part of cultural heritage somehow, even if he doesn't listen to it or didn't listen to it, but in the music his parents or her parents would listen to. And yeah.
Sorry, that's you.
Thank you.
Να πω.
Αν θες, ναι.
Και αυτό που θέλω να πω είναι ότι βλέπουμε με πολύ ενδιαφέρον ότι πολλά νέα σχήματα, νέη μουσική, νέα συγκροτήματα κρατάνε σαν βάση την παραδοσιακή μουσική, σαν μια γερή βάση, ας πούμε, τη βλέπουμε από μια ματιά, από μια κοντινή ματιά, και πάνω σε αυτή ξεκινάνε και χτίζουν κάτι καινούριο, με καινούργια δεξιοτεχνία, καινούργια όργανα, όπως είσαι και εσύ, ας πούμε, με το σαξόφωνο, όπως και ο Φάουστο με το σαξόφωνο, αποδίδει αυτή τη μουσική με ένα όργανο, ας πούμε, που έχει έρθει από τη Δύση, ας πούμε, κατά κάποιο τρόπο, και βλέπουμε να εξελίσσεται όλο αυτό το πράγμα, οπότε είναι πολύ σημαντικό αυτό. Και ο κόσμος το δέχεται, δηλαδή δέχεται αυτή την καινούργια ματιά πάνω στην παραδοσιακή μουσική. Οπότε το κάνουμε και πολύ πιο ευχάριστα. Δεν γινόμαστε, δεν την παράγουμε, δεν αναπαράγουμε απλά αυτό.
There's the new generation of musicians somehow likes to take traditional music as a base, as the base of their musical language. And then many things happen, new creations, new ways of playing, but that this process is also allowed by the fact that the general public accepts this and likes to listen to this kind of music. And so it's not about conservation or preservation, but it's about production, because the public, the audience wants to listen to it, the musicians. So it's something that flows.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
will add. I would like to add something to this
Please.
also. Panagiotis,
Yeah,
did you
yes,
finish or?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, because exactly this one. I talked before about why I like to play traditional music. Okay, but even if I didn't like to play traditional music, the fact is that traditional music, any traditional music from anywhere, is a great tool to build something. For example, knowing how a specific rhythm or the melody moves into a composition, or how a rhythm grooves into the traditional music, I could take this and make it something new into a modern music. Jazz music, rock music, whatever music, new music, electronic music. It's a great tool just to know about your traditional music.
Πολύ ωραία.
Yes, that was it.
Thank you. And Fausto, do you want to say something, add something for our audience?
Oh, I just want to thank Stratis and Panagiotis for taking the time to play these pieces. I was very special for me, so, and also thank to Errichetta and everybody who's behind, so that we had this opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. It was nice to hear you and meet you today.
It was also nice to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.